you go to the website louvickerybooks.com, you will see a number of books that have been authored by Lou Vickery. But today we talk about book number 14. It is called Reach Beyond, How to Jump Over Hurdles and Land on Success. Lou, welcome back to Rick and Bubba.
Hey, guys, it's only been about 18 years, but I appreciate you having me back.
Yeah, it's a lot of rotation. It is.
I want to know, all of you look just about the same.
I know. I think we've aged gracefully.
You really have. You've done a marvelous job. I will say there's one individual in the house who had a little more hair before.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to mention any names.
Right. Yeah,
but he's still just as good looking as he ever was.
He is. Well, he says working with us will make you bald.
You know, here on the staff, Greg is famous for holding court. Well, as you can tell, Lou Vickery holds court wherever he goes.
I bet he does.
The jury is in.
Well, I tell you what, I ran the kangaroo court when I was in pro ball, and if we find, I tell you what, 10% of everything we got was mine. So I fined everybody. They stayed fined. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you got to work it, and one of the things you talk about is this book is you've talked to people who've been successful in every form or fashion you can think of, and this book is kind of an attempt to take all these different people in different lines of work, but the thing they have in common is they've been successful at it, and then try to say, well, what are the things we should look for in all these people that seems to be constant, and then maybe the rest of us should maybe follow suit.
Rick, I think the biggest thing that makes people highly successful is that we all start out pretty much with the same goals. We want to be successful. We want to have, friends. We want to be financially secure. But basically, I see the biggest difference is that when you run into a hurdle, how do you handle the hurdle? And the majority of times, you try to find a way around, but most of the time, the only way is through. And I think that the one thing that I see is what I call stability. There's two things I think really make the difference. One is you have to have a good forgettery, and you have to have great stability.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember, if I can use a baseball analogy, I remember a situation where that I came into a game. I was a relief pitcher, closer. Came into a game, bases loaded. We're up 6-3. I throw one pitch and get beat 7-6. Grand slam home run.
Oh my!
Hey, yeah.
Well, I had 2:00 in the morning. I'm walking the street with the cops, so we're checking the doors. Well, I'm back in there again the next night. Come into a situation, 1-run lead, bases loaded. Throw one pitch, get a double play, get a save. So my point is that you just got to get through it. I mean, we're going to run into hurdles in life. Yep. That's all part of it. But how do we handle the hurdles? And most of the time, I think that the difference in what I found in the people I talked to, and I must say our illustrious friend, Mr. Bill Bubba Bussey, his story's in here.
He is in here, and Bubba has done an endorsement here on the book. So I'm looking at the chapters. Which one is Bubba? I mean,
he's in chapter 10 on goals.
Okay, chapter 10 says, success forms around preparation. 11 is goals to
11.
grow.
I apologize.
Okay, chapter 11.
See, me and Lou, we got to think. We just try to get close.
No, you're close.
You know what I mean? Just get in the ballpark.
Kind of like Bubba got close on the actual address of our studio, but not accurate.
Not active.
Sorry about that, Lou.
Close doesn't count much when you're trying to find a place, does it?
It does. No. By the way,
how'd you in the right city?
I do want to ask you, how's our accountant doing? But since you probably
I gave you his address.
You probably went to his address.
I probably did.
You're right.
I know I ended up over at the Brookwood Medical Center.
Oh, boy, Bubba.
You know what I said, Greg? I said, I believe I've been here before.
It looks familiar.
It did.
Bubba and I literally, and Speedy is my witness on this, there are people that we have relationships with, like you and Bubba, and then there's people that, it starts out, and what we've tried to learn is whether I've known you for years or somebody sent me an email because you're someone who wants to be on the show and I've never known you.
Right.
I need to treat both the same when it comes to the details of getting here, because when Bubba and I try to leave our office and go into Speedy's office, we always mess it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really, at some point, we're just better off to hand it off to Speedy and let him work the details out once we said, hey, we want to do this, kind of make sure that happens.
Next time, Speedy, you send the directions, will you?
Yes, sir.
Just save a card.
What are some of the things you said? First of all, one of them is obvious. It's how people handle adversity.
That's right.
Because you're not going to go down any road that does not at some point have adversity on it. So that's one thing, how they handled that. What were some other things you saw?
I tell you, Rick, one of the things I see is that we don't fall into a rut. We slip into a rut, one little slip at a time.
Slow fade.
And so over a period of time, we may slip into that rut. And a lot of this book is about how do you get out of the rut? I mean, what's the next step? What are some of the things you do? This book is not, I tell everyone, it's not for everyone, but it's for someone. And there probably is some point as somebody in our family that needs to be reading this book. I got a testimony from a young fellow out of Cleveland, Ohio, and he expressed to me that he was actually contemplating suicide. He just opened the book. Somebody gave him the book. He opened the book, and it just happened to hit on chapter, I believe it's 22. You have to bear with me, but it's called Listen to Your Heart. And it's down toward the end, but basically when it comes down to it, that's what we have to do. The good Lord placed in our heart the ability. You tell me in the Bible where the word Cain is. It's not there. If it is, it doesn't have any relationship to our ability to move forward and continue to make progress in life. So the word Cain is that, just put it aside. But this young fella, and I communicated with him by phone. I got the email on Wednesday. I thought I'd give him a couple days. I called him, and we've communicated. He didn't have a job. His wife had left him. We've seen those scenarios before.
Right.
But he turned it around, and he found him a job, was back, communicating with his family, and so things were starting to turn. So in my estimation, people ask me, why do I write? That's one story, and that's all I need is that one story to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't think I think that's what Jesus does say, that without me you can't do anything.
That's right.
So that's the one place.
Yeah, one place. Yeah. And that one fits.
Yeah, that one does fit. He
because
said
we're talking about a way to make us better.
Right. He said, "Abide in me, because without me you can accomplish nothing."
That's right.
And but that's still the same theme. He's just driving home the point.
Absolutely.
If you don't get the heart issue right, you got problems.
Well,
Amen.
As we were talking about earlier, there's so many things in life that you have no control over.
That's right.
So there's really no need in worrying about those, because you can't do anything about them. But there are things you can control.
Right.
And that is the decision when you quit, when you stop.
That's it.
And those are the things you have to work on and concentrate on. And that's kind of what I was talking to Lou about in that book. And so many times, I look back in my life and things that did not work out, and it may be sports, it may be other jobs or whatever, and I'm the one that decided when I quit.
Right.
Now, there were other people telling me I didn't belong, but I could have kept pushing through, and luckily I did in this business.
Right.
So that's the thought of that you really do have control over a lot of things, and those are the things you need to focus on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You're talking about quitting. Basically, it's easiest. There is no formula for quitting. There's no formula. Quitting is the easiest thing in the world to do. I love General Mathis said that, winners don't know how to spell defeat.
Right.
You don't. Because you lose this time doesn't mean that that's where it's going to be. But that's the way a lot of people look at it. Oh, man, I lost. And that's the reason I like to think that when I'm around people and they're around me, they're thinking in terms of, hey, let's be upbeat. I've had adversity. You've had adversity. We all have.
Yep,
but doubt. What do we do with it? Where do we go from there? And the good Lord plants in our heart the ability to keep going.
Amen. Well, you almost start taking on the attitude of anybody who's ever been a salesperson. There's an old way that salespeople are taught to look at rejection, because you get rejected all the time.
Sure.
And they get to the point, if I've been rejected 10 times, I'm about to make a big sale.
Right.
And you almost may start thinking about that in life. Hey, look, this didn't work out, that didn't. Something about to hit.
One real quick statement. In there, I talk about handling no.
Okay, let's talk about that when we come back.
No?
We'll talk about that when we come back.
And I got to hear a Lou story when we come
Lou
back.
Vickery, Reach Beyond is the book. Available on Amazon, wherever you get books, or at LouVickerybooks.com. We'll be right back. More Rick and Bubba with the Lou Vickery right after this.
Rick and Bubba.
Where Lou Vickery is with us. Lou has and we're going to get to come to the stories, a great story involving his times in professional baseball. But He's written a book called Reach Beyond, How to Jump Over Hurdles and Land on Success. Our very own Bill Bubba Bussey is interviewed for Chapter 11. So when you pick up a copy, read the whole thing, but be sure you enjoy the Bubba story there in Chapter 11. It's available wherever books are sold, also at LouVickerybooks.com. So, Lou, first of all, and then we'll get into some stories. We went to the break. You said one of the things you got to figure out about success is how to handle the word no.
That's correct. You know, we're going to get a lot of no's, and a lot of times a no, Rick, will come from members of your family.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly, you know, you want to do something. Oh, no, you can't do that. No, you know, you hear no. You know, we grow up as kids. We hear no about 18 times more than we hear yes.
I heard it a lot. Yeah, I heard it a lot.
Right.
I still hear it a lot.
So basically, but you're talking from a sales standpoint, and, you know, that's what I did for 29 years.
I knew.
Involved in training salespeople. But I always said, look, you understand that a no to you is not a no about you. It's not about you personally. That's what you have to get through.
Yeah, people take things too personal.
And most salespeople are people related. I mean, they enjoy people and don't like to hear the word no.
Right.
But if you can learn to get through the no's in life and understand that most of them are there for a purpose.
Right, and they're not about you personally.
Not about you. Not about you. It's about what you're doing, what you may, and they're there hopefully to help.
Right. And listen to why you were told no. It may be something you need to make an adjustment on.
That's right. Amen.
Yeah.
And if we didn't hear the no, we wouldn't make an adjustment, right?
Right.
So a lot of times it is a plus.
Yeah, don't assume that everybody who's giving you some helpful criticism is off their bonkers. Some people, when they're saying something about you that needs to be addressed, they may be right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
very much
sometimes yes is not good. I was called in one time, and I asked the boss if he was firing me. He said yes.
Hey, we've all been there, haven't we?
Sometimes don't ask any questions. Just go.
I tell you, but I also, one thing, you're right, though. There's some yeses that are yes, but. You know, that's a great one. So everything that came before the but didn't mean a thing, right?
You're right. So tell us, you have some very interesting, you have a record in Major League Professional Baseball that you told us the story one time, but the guys said don't know.
All right, well, I'm going to tell first the story.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I was in Atlanta. I was a starting pitcher, and it was in the first inning, Rick, I didn't get a soul out. I think I gave up 4 hits, walked a couple. Unusual for me to walk people. I didn't throw hard enough to walk people. You know what I mean? And so, but at any rate, here comes the manager. So it's not my night, right? And in baseball terms, they call that getting knocked out of the box.
Right.
I did a book in the 95 on answers to baseball's most asked questions, and that's one of them is in there. So I got knocked out of the box. Well, in old Ponce de Leon Park, you had to go down past first base, down under the stadium stands to get to the dressing room. Not like the modern where you can hide out in the dugout. Right. Well, so people are telling me just how good I am, huh? So my self-esteem's about an inch off the ground.
Right.
Well, I get to down, I dress, I take a shower, I dress, I walk down the runway, and to look at the scoreboard, you know, the old statement, we ain't had our turn at bat yet, right? And just as I looked at the scoreboard, understand the only thing above ground's my head.
Okay.
I hear the crack of the bat, and I look, and there's a line drive foul ball coming right at me.
Didn't think it could get any worse, did you?
Oh, Greg, it didn't. It hit me right perfectly between the eyes. And it left a seam mark there. And so nobody knows, you know, they don't know I'm there till the ball boy comes to retrieve the ball, and there I'm laying out. Big old knot formed up on my head. They called the ambulance, hauled me over to Grady Hospital. They found out over there what my mother already knew. I had a hard head.
Yes.
But anyway, they checked me out. I went home. I had a big old headache, but I checked the sports page the next morning, and the headline says, Vickery knocked out twice. Now, hold it. The subheading was the best part. X-rays of head show nothing. So, I've used that all these years, you know?
You come out the ultimate, can't have nothing. Look, you got bombed the first day. I'm gonna pick out the house. I mean, you can't even
just
walk
not
up,
your day.
You can't even go to the dugout.
Well, let's get to the one about making the record book.
Okay.
It's a guy on first base. I don't know what inning it was, but I pick a pitch, and a guy hits a line drive right back at me. I put up my glove and hit the tip of my glove, forehead, and got caught in my cap. and the ball and the glove, the ball and the cap flutter out, and the second baseman catches it. And the base umpire, out. Well, Here comes the manager. Now, understand, I'm walling around on the ground with already a knot forming on my head.
Right.
And they get to during this argument going, nobody's paying attention to me, right?
Right.
Well, the court choice words got him tossed out of the game real quickly, right?
Okay. All right.
And so while he was arguing, he fell over me, stumbled over me, and he's laying on the ground still cussing the umpire. And so basically, then, and they conversed. So the two umpires conversed, and the home plate umpire overruled him. So he called him safe.
What?
Well, here comes our manager.
Right.
Here we go.
And our manager comes out with a few choice words. Proceeds this time, the umpire falls over me.
So you're just laying
I'm
here.
just
still on
laying
the
there.
ground,
Nobody
bleeding.
paid
Everybody
attention
keeps tripping
to
over
me.
you.
And so he calls them out. Both managers get tossed out on the same play. First time in the history of the game.
So that's you called. What was the right call, by the way? Should it
By
have
the
been?
right call, he's not out. You cannot catch a ball with any other than the glove or the hand. One time, Johnny Pesky had those old baseball uniforms he used to wear way back.
baggy.
The ball went down in his uniform. Joe DiMaggio got an inside the park home run because the ball he couldn't get the ball out of his jersey.
So he would only been out if the ball had come back out of the hat.
That's right. It falls in his hand. And so when he finally got it out of the jersey, it falls on the ground, and DiMaggio's almost home.
Lou, always fun. It's good to have you back. I hope you'll visit again. Lou Vickery, the book is available wherever books are sold. Reach Beyond, How to Jump Over Hurdles and Land on Success. One of 14 books now that Lou has penned. You might want to look at the others at louvickerybooks.com, also Amazon.com. And don't forget, Chapter 11 is a story from our very own Bill Bubba Bussey. Lou, good to see you. Have a great weekend. Bubba, have a great trip, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you in Minneapolis.
Go Taggers, right?
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.